Happy Tuesday, everyone. It is September 5th, 2023. My name is Kyle, and this is Maker Notes. And today I get to talk about projects that two of my favorite people are releasing. One of them is Stephen West. And Stephen, as many of you may already know, is about to launch, the GeoGradient Shawl Mystery Knit-Along. It is a mystery knit-along that happens in October. This is the 14th year that this has happened. It's so much fun. And these shawls, these projects have some twists and turns. They are approachable. There is a huge encouraging community that is knitting right along with you, the same project, which makes it a lot of fun. Everyone's project turns out so different because of the different yarns that they use. And of course, we wanted to do something to offer a kit for those of you who might like to knit along with some of our yarn. So we decided to focus on this yarn. This is Haiku. It is Madrona by Haiku. So it's 30% alpaca. It's baby alpaca that's been treated with a process called Easy Wash. And Easy Wash is kind of like superwash. It is a process that makes it so that this yarn and your finished project could go into the washing machine under a gentle or delicate cycle if you'd like to do that. I always hand wash the things that I've spent dozens and dozens and hundreds perhaps hours knitting. So mine are always washed by hand, just like I knitted them by hand, but you could put it into the machine if you like. So 30% baby alpaca, 30% merino wool, 20% bamboo viscose, and 20% nylon. There's 402 yards in this 100-gram cake. The cool thing about cakes is that it is already wound and ready for you to cast on. So the second this shows up, you can get to work knitting that gauge swatch and make sure that you have the gauge that you like for the project. So the first colorway, there are 5 for you. The first one's called what am I doing? Solar Flare. So the Solar Flare is color 1410. It's Firethorn Berry. It is paired with 1413, which is Ferris Clay. Then we put a little bit of a gold in here, 1415, Semolina Flower. And then the last one is 1404, Rocky Beach. So these 4 colors here make up the colorway Solar Flare. And you want, for the GeoGradient, you want a fingering weight yarn. You need 100 grams, 380, I think, yards is what Stephen had specified. All the details are in the newsletter and in the product page, so you'll see all those, or on the Ravelry page for the pattern. So 400-gram hanks or cakes or balls of fingering weight yarn is what you need, and you want it to be a gradient color shift. So that's the first one, Solar Flare. The second one I have is called Starry Sky. Starry Sky is 1402, which is volcanic basalt. It's a very beautiful dark gray. I'm going not in the order necessarily of what you might use them. This is 1403, yes, Napped Flint. Then our friend 1404, Rocky Beach. Sorry, I have to bring them down here because I'm picking stuff up. So Napped Flint and 1401. This is Natural Pearl, 1401. So this is Starry Sky. It's a beautiful, very neutral GeoGradient that will be. We talk about Comet Tail. Comet Tail is 1407, Blue Hydrangea. And then it's gonna be Pacific Sound Seaways, color 1406. This is Pacific Blue, 1405, Pacific Blue. And then the last one is 1402, Volcanic Basalt. So this is Comet Tail, this colorful combination, beautiful story of blues here. That'd make a really lovely shawl. It's really fun to pick colors and not know what you're actually, what the project's gonna look like. I mean, I imagine there's gonna be some shifts. Maybe there's gonna be some, you know, shifting from one color to the next. Maybe there's gonna be some marls. I don't know, and you don't know, and we don't know until the 5th of October when the first clue comes out. More kit colorways. This is Supernova, so it's 1400 Powder Snow, 1412, this is Mountain Laurel, then 1411 Beetroot Stew, and the fourth one is 1409 Huckleberry Wine. So these four make a very warm, cozy GeoGradient shawl. That'll be pretty. There's one more for those of you who love green. I know that Chuck loves green. He might want to do this one. This is going to be 1404 Rocky Beach. This is 1419 Foggy Sea Spray. Then 1418, which is Meadow Grass. And then the last color here, 1403 Napped Flint. So that is the sort of greenish one. You could also, you know, do other yarns if you want. There are lots of places that are going to be offering kits like this. So if this isn't the one for you, you want to do something a little different, you can check out, you know, look around on the web. Not that I want you to go anywhere else. Of course, I want you to buy things from us, but I also want you to participate and find the colors you like. So if you don't love the kit that I have here that we've put together, you can always keep looking. There's lots of places who are doing hand-dyed yarn. There's just so many different options, and that's part of the fun with these mystery knit-alongs, especially when it's Stephen who's doing it, because you know it's going to be a really great finished project that is engaging and fun to make, and also a little bit of challenging, and there's going to be some twists and turns, and at the end you have this really fun finished project that is uniquely you, and all of your friends who have also been knitting along might be using different yarn from different places, and everyone's looks just so different. So in our kit, we have that, and the pattern will get updated starting October 5th. It's every Thursday, so the 5th, the 12th, the 19th, and 26th. Stephen will do the update through Ravelry. So if you provide your Ravelry ID, we're gonna send the pattern, when we buy the pattern from Stephen, we'll buy it on Ravelry and send it to you that way, and then all the updates will happen through Ravelry. If you don't have Ravelry or you don't use it, then we will send the pattern, the pre-order pattern, the teaser is what I usually call it. We'll send that to the email that you use when you check out. And then each Thursday, as the knit along progresses, those updates will come by email, whatever email it is that you use. So you're going to get the GeoGradient Shawl Mystery Knit Along pattern. You're going to get the 4 Cakes of Madrona by Haiku. You're also going to get a Skacel 40-inch US 4 fixed circular needle. This is a rocket, so it has that really nice pointy tip that so many of us love. It's the 40-inch size 4, I already said that, 3.5 millimeter circular. This is the size that Stephen suggested for the project. There is a gauge swatch information. It is on the project page, and you can see that in also that teaser or sort of pre-launch information packet. So you'll be able to right away cast on, knit your swatch, and make sure that you are getting the gauge that you need. So, and we want to get gauge, even though it's a shawl, we want to make sure that we achieve gauge because we have a limited amount of yarn, right? And we need about 380 yards for each of these colors is what Stephen is suggesting. Each of these hanks of yarn has 402. So there's 22 extra yards of each color in here. That should be a good enough amount for any of us to be able to complete the pattern, especially if we are on gauge or super close to it. So pattern, needle, 4 hanks, cakes of yarn, and we're going to give you the project bag. So this is the clear vinyl Maker's Tote. Many of us are going to be going to Stitch and Pitch very soon, or have been, depending on where you are in the country. So this tote, the Maker's Tote, is the right size, at least for Seattle, to be able to go to the game. So you can get your 4 hanks of yarn, cakes, Kyle, not hanks, 4 cakes of yarn. You don't have to take all of them with you to knit a gauge swatch, of course. You'll get your Skacel Rocket Fixed Circular. You're gonna get the pattern teaser, which will have the cast on information, the gauge information. You'll be ready to go. The other thing I wanna talk to you about, there's 2 other things. The other friend is Marie Green. Hello, Marie. Marie has been working so hard on another book. And this book we've been excited about for a while. We've had it on order and it showed up. This is The Joy of Yarn. It is Marie explaining to you how to curate your yarn collection that is your stash. I think of my stash as not a thing I have to work through, but it's kind of like a garden. And you know, sometimes you have to weed the garden, sometimes you pick flowers, and when we pick flowers, more flowers grow, that kind of thing. So how do you arrange your stash? How do you go through your stash? How do you manage it? This book goes into all of that and so much more in a conversational, friendly tone, the way that Marie shares all of her information, which is just wonderful, like a good friend. Inside here also, you're gonna find 10 different patterns, and I'm gonna show you just sneak peek images of 3 of them. This is the mini mohair cowl. How cute is that? And each of these patterns has information about the size, it has information about gauge, it has information about what yarn was used, but it doesn't tell you exactly what yarn was used, because the entire goal of this book is for you to dive into that garden of yarn that you have at home, find the ones that you love, and empower yourself with the ability to put those yarns together by color or different types and that kind of thing, and make stuff out of it. So you get to make things out of the yarn that you have at home. And you know, maybe you're doing something multicolored and you find all but one thing. You're working on a sweater and you find all but one that you love. Well, you can use those pieces, the elements that you found in your stash, and then head out to your local yarn shop and pick up that one extra hank to make the perfect collection, make that perfect project for yourself. This is the one skein beanie. So pretty. So maybe you have some you know, yarn that you found on a vacation or something, or a road trip. Perhaps this is the one skein project that would be perfect for that. And the last thing, last project I'm going to show you are the color theory socks. And Marie goes into explaining some information about how to choose the colors, how to select those. And again, the type of yarn is in here. The information about yardage and all of that is here. The specific brand that was used isn't listed. And I just think that is such a brilliant, brilliant thing. So if you feel like being empowered, grab one of these. We have a limited number. I think we had 20 copies that we brought in. I have a few more already on order. So if you're interested, grab The Joy of Yarn before they totally sell out. The last thing I'm going to tell you real quick, I know there's a lot, such a few things, but so much stuff. The last thing is tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time, Leslie from So Powerful is going to join me. And Karin might be here too, which would be really fun. And we are all going to talk about this really great group called So Powerful. And So Powerful encourages people who sew to create these little bags, and the bags get filled with hygiene products like soap and underwear and hygiene products for girls. And the entire kit is gifted to girls in Zambia with the encouragement of helping them stay in school all month long. And you're going to learn all about that and even more. Even if you don't sew, this is an opportunity for you to learn about something that just this really incredible group is doing to help people from here all the way over to Zambia. So I hope you'll join us again, 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We'd love to see you there. The Zoom information is in the newsletter. It's also on our calendar. So go to makersmercantile.com, click on calendar, go to today's date, September 5th, it's Tuesday, and you'll see, if you click on the event, you'll see the Zoom information and the password and all of that. So that is it. It's a long-winded Tuesday. I hope you're having a wonderful beginning of this shorter week. I hope you had a lovely weekend. And I'll see you again either tonight or I'll see you on Friday for the next adventure. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.